In 1776, George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson and others signed the Declaration of American Independence. The colonists were going to fight the British government for control of their own country, which started the story of the growth of America and McDonald's spreading around the world. But why did George III, the King of Britain in 1776, lose control of his colony in America? Well, there were three problems at the time in America, three problems which were waiting to explode, just like barrels of gunpowder. The first of these problems was the problem of power. George III ruled the American colonies just like he ruled all the other colonies in his empire. They were there to provide Britain and the British consumer with raw materials and with taxes. He ruled them for the benefit of the British people. Whereas the Americans, the American colonists themselves, they thought he should be ruling the American colonies for the benefit of them, and that they should have more of a say in how their country was ruled. As the colonists said, there should be no taxation without representation. Another problem building up and waiting to explode was that of money. The British had fought the 7 Years' War against the French and driven the French out of Canada after James Wolfe's heroic victory at the Battle of Quebec. And now the American colonists were safe. George III thought that they should pay for the cost of that war. And he introduced in 1765 the Stamp Act, which was a tax on all papers, newspapers, any legal documents. So people across American society suddenly had to pay increased amounts of taxes. Now, the American colonists were also losing money because many of them were tea smugglers, making lots of money from the tea trade. But then George III agreed that the East India Company could sell all of their spare tea to the American market. Clearly, the American colonists were going to lose a lot of money, the smugglers were going to lose a lot of money, and they wanted to stop this. The final problem waiting to explode was that of a new ideology, a new thinking about how a country should be run. Now, in Europe at the time, there was this movement called the Enlightenment. New philosophers like Rousseau were saying that all men were created equal. And if that was so, then individuals should have rights, should have human rights. And these ideas spread to America, and so many Americans thought, well, if all men were created equal, why can't we have more of a say in the running of our country? Was this a new religion? Well, some say that this is similar to a religious cause of a conflict, but I think that these new ideas are slightly different to religion fueling a conflict. So there are these three problems sitting there waiting to explode, and of course any problem, any large barrel of gunpowder needing to explode needs a spark. And the spark came in 1773 when some young men in Boston decided to dress up as Native Americans, as Indians, and at night they snuck into Boston Harbour where there was a huge ship from the East India Company full of tea. They stuck on board and they chucked all the tea overboard. Thousands of pounds worth of tea entered the harbour. Now, the British Army, wanting to protect the East India Company, took draconian measures to clamp down this lawlessness in Boston, and this led to a series of confrontations between the British Army and the American colonists, which over the next 3 years escalated until in 1776 there was a full-scale war between the American colonists and the British Army, which eventually the British Army